I mean that stinky, smelly, hot lava
Coming out of me like lava!
cow dung fire out of my ass type of shit.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm talking about. And now they're trying to change the Muhammad Ali Act to boxers over. Get the out of our sport.
Now get the out of here.
Everything you touch turns to absolute shit.
He's shit everywhere!
And now you have the FBI crawling up your ass.
But then we just had an office full of FBI agents in here. So, you know, we if you try to do this, I've been very vocal and very open about this, we will be your worst enemy.
That this is not an isolated incident. And what I mean by that is, I have talked to multiple people who have either experienced or know of others who experience situations where they have been approached about their willingness to do something like this. So I have been told by multiple people.
A shocking scandal has erupted in the UFC, and Oscar De La Hoya is calling out the biggest names in the sport like never before. Over the past weekend, the UFC found itself at the center of intense scrutiny after unusual betting patterns were noticed in the Isaac Dulgarian versus Yadier Del Valle fight at UFC Vegas 110. Dulgarian entered the bout as a strong favorite, but the odds took an unexpected turn right before the fight began. When Dulgarian delivered a performance that left fans and experts scratching their heads, allegations of fight fixing quickly spread across the MMA world. The situation was serious enough that the UFC contacted the Federal Bureau of Investigation to assist with what could be a widespread issue affecting the sport.
My understanding is this is on the FBI's radar. How deep of an investigation is unclear at this time. This is all very new, but yes, it is accurate. I believe there's a gentleman named Harry Mack on social media who is having a nice little victory tour after all of this, and I'm sure he's going to have another one. I'm not familiar with his work, but he did write that yesterday, and so that is my understanding. And my understanding is that this is not an isolated incident. And what I mean by that is, I have talked to multiple people who have either experienced or know of others who experience situations where they have been approached about their willingness to do something like this. So I have been told by multiple people.
Oscar De La Hoya, a longtime rival of Dana White, could not resist commenting. While the official investigation was still in its early stages, De La Hoya relished the chance to weigh in, taking a sharp jab at both White and TKO. He painted a vivid picture of frustration and disdain, describing the situation in unfiltered terms and making it clear he found satisfaction in seeing a major figure in UFC management under the microscope. He emphasized that the alleged manipulation extended beyond one fight, suggesting over 100 fights could potentially be involved, though this claim has been debated.
But news came out this week that I cannot ignore, and one of my enemies is in boiling hot shit. And I mean that stinky, smelly, hot lava
Coming out of me like lava!
cow dung fire out of my ass type of shit.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm talking about. So, my friend Dana White and the UFC are being investigated by the FBI for allegedly fixing over 100 fights.
100!
With the latest one over the weekend, that was incredibly suspicious. I mean, wow. Is anybody really surprised? No.
Told you, all he wants is our money.
It's important to note that at this stage, the UFC is not under direct investigation. Instead, it is cooperating with the FBI, which is looking into the suspicious betting activities surrounding specific fights. Dana White has personal connections within the FBI, notably with director Kash Patel, and has publicly stated that any fighters or staff found attempting to manipulate fights would face severe consequences.
You know, a couple years ago, whenever it was, that investigation is still ongoing, and now will be a part of this investigation too.
You mentioned talking to the FBI. Are you directly talking to Kash Patel? I'm sure you do have a relationship.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning, but then we just had an office full of FBI agents in here. So, you know, we if you try to do this, I've been very vocal and very open about this. We will be your worst enemy. We will immediately go after you, guns a-blazing, with the FBI and whoever else we need to get. And we will we will do everything we can to make sure you go to prison.
White also dismissed the notion that hundreds of fights were involved as exaggeration or usual clickbait, but the speculation fueled a wave of reactions from fans and fighters alike.
There's hundreds of fights under, it's total bullshit. Total usual clickbait bullshit. IC360, our company, they monitor all of the betting. Like I said, they're the best in the business. There aren't hundreds of fights being investigated. All clickbait BS. So this company, IC360, which is the best bet monitoring company in the business, we've been with them for years. And we get a report after every single fight that we do. So for anybody out there that's clickbait saying, oh, there's hundreds of fights, it's all bullshit. We've been with these guys for years. We take this very serious, and you know, we're watching every single fight that happens in the UFC, from the first prelim to the main event.
Despite the clarifications, De La Hoya used the controversy as a springboard to critique TKO and their approach to promoting boxing. He framed the situation as part of a broader pattern of mismanagement and unfair practices, highlighting attempts to amend the Muhammad Ali American Boxing Revival Act. According to De La Hoya, this proposed legislation could allow promoters to gain excessive control over fighters' careers, potentially harming boxers financially and professionally.
I've been trying to tell you guys, these TKO guys are scumbags. And now they're trying to change the Muhammad Ali Act to f boxers over. Get the f out of our sport.
Now get the fuck out of here.
Everything you touch turns to absolute sh.
He's shit everywhere!
And now you have the FBI crawling up your ass. Good fuck luck. I mean, look, is there any young boxer who is crazy enough to f their careers by signing with your league?
No.
They want their own rules. They want their own belt, their own ring, their own sanction to do exactly what they've done with the UFC.
It's all a fugazi.
Which landed them a $400 million suit.
He positioned the UFC betting scandal as evidence of how easily things can go wrong when profit motives take precedence over athlete safety and fairness. De La Hoya didn't hold back, calling TKO scumbags and expressing disbelief that anyone would jeopardize their career by signing with such organizations.
From former fighters and now a federal investigation into illegal activity.
We just had an office full of FBI agents in here.
I mean, we'll see how that pans out. Dana's shirt is definitely stressed at this point, and he's having a terrible week. But guess what?
Not me. I'm in my prime.
I'm having a great week. See you Saturday, live on The Zone from Dallas-Fort Worth. Virgil Ortiz.
The Bulgarian Del Valle fight specifically became the focal point for these claims. Analysts and former fighters noted how strange the odds shifts were and how unusual Bulgarian's performance appeared. The UFC moved quickly and the FBI began examining all available data. For fans following the sport, it's a reminder that the integrity of the fights is paramount and the organizations involved are aware that public trust is at stake.
That they have been approached, they have been talked to and said, are you interested in this? Are you interested in throwing a fight for X amount of dollars? Believe that's what happened with Darrick Minner, and all signs right now are pointing to something of that sort happening here. This is a massive issue for the UFC. And when you consider, now I haven't been told this part that I'm about to say, when you consider the questionable refereeing as of late, you can't help, I said this last week, you can't help but let your mind go there as well, because there's no other possible explanation for some of the wacky stuff that we have seen as of late. And it's very easy to do.
As news of the potential scandal circulated, Factory X, a gym reportedly connected in some reports to the investigation, issued a statement denying any wrongdoing. Factory X clarified that no FBI raids had taken place, and that claims of involvement in fight fixing were false. The gym emphasized its long-standing reputation in the community and insisted on transparency, expressing a willingness to cooperate fully with any investigation. The UFC betting scandal prompted reactions from several fighters, adding another layer to the story. Michael Bisping, a respected commentator and former UFC champion, admitted he had not noticed anything unusual during the Bulgarian Del Valle bout. However, he acknowledged the seriousness of the situation and the potential consequences if misconduct was confirmed.
I mean, what more do you want to say? I mean, it's kind of crazy that Isaac Bulgarian would do that. It is insane. We don't know the circumstances or whatever. It's been fully investigated, so I'm sure the truth will come out eventually. But such an idiot, you know, a very, very promising young man, a great fighter, excellent wrestling pedigree, and now he's just thrown away his career completely. And we don't know the ins and outs. We don't know if there's some shady characters. This is what me and Paul were talking about around mixed martial arts and combat sports. There is some people, some unsavory characters. I feel as the sport has got much more professional these days, it's kind of weeded out a lot of those people, and it's mainly real, true professionals and managers involved. But who knows? Maybe he had some personal troubles.
Bisping highlighted that professional oversight in the UFC is strong, noting the involvement of IC360, a monitoring company that tracks betting patterns for every fight. He emphasized that any attempts to manipulate outcomes are taken very seriously and would be met with immediate action, including legal involvement and criminal prosecution.
Yeah, so they have a whole. I mean, I commentate the UFC. I've been around the company now. You know, in January, it'll be 20 years as a part of the UFC, which is insane, which is a nice little milestone for me because I do value that. And I'd never heard that they have this company that's well respected, that's one of the world leaders in monitoring this kind of stuff. You know, so clearly they're doing everything they can to ensure that this stuff doesn't happen. But, you know, I guess in any walk of life, you know, that's why I said, is it really that big of a story? That there's people that are in that are what's the word I'm looking for? They're motivated.
Randy Brown, an active UFC fighter, also weighed in. He made it clear that he had never been approached to fix a fight and preferred to focus on his career and family. Brown expressed caution in forming opinions without complete information, noting that allegations can spread quickly and often without full context.
I'm not thinking about any of that. I've never been approached about throwing a fight or nothing like that. So that whole betting thing, I don't even think about it for real. I'm just ready to fight, man.
He encouraged patience and fact-checking, reminding fans that the sport's complexity requires careful investigation before conclusions are drawn. Brown also admitted that when money is involved, surprises can happen, but he personally remains focused on competing honestly and professionally.
I'm not gonna come and just start spewing opinions on that I know nothing about, you know what I mean? See, if I had the facts and I had the information, it's easy for me to speak. But if I don't know, I see people digging up stuff about all this other stuff, and the information is all over the place. I don't know, so I can't speak on it too much. But what I will say is, there's a lot of allegations and shit that's getting thrown out, and I think that people need to slow down, get the information, and wait for things to come out, and then see what's what, and see what actually happened and what's actually happening.
Beneil Dariush, another prominent UFC competitor, reflected on how an FBI investigation could impact the sport's reputation. Dariush reiterated that he had never been approached to manipulate fights, but acknowledged that sophisticated tracking tools make it difficult for anyone to conceal misconduct. He also raised concerns about the long-term effects on MMA if fight fixing were occurring regularly.
I mean, this is wild. I'll be honest, no one's ever approached me, and I think they know I would never accept that. That being said, I think if the FBI is involved, they're gonna have access to all his messages, all his phone calls, all his records, and so it's not gonna take long before they figure it out, unless he did the whole business, face to face. But even then, I wouldn't be surprised, because what they could do is they could basically track the location of your phone and everybody's phone you've been in contact with, and man, it'll be really difficult to get away with it.
Dariush questioned whether gambling might eventually need to be limited within the sport, noting that some aspects of betting remain outside the UFC's control. He stressed that the ongoing investigation should clarify the facts and protect both fighters and fans from corruption.
Yeah, I wonder how often it happens. That totally ruins our sport. You know, if this is something that's happening on a regular basis. I wonder. What I'm about to say is not going to be popular, but I'm not a believer in gambling. I'm not a fan of gambling, so I wonder if they will just remove gambling. But I don't know if we can. I don't know if you could do it, because it's outside of our control, outside the UFC's control. So really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I know that UFC, every major sports league has betting.
The broader MMA community reacted with mixed emotions. The story underscores a tension in combat sports between maintaining competitive integrity and the financial incentives associated with betting. Analysts pointed out that while rare, such scandals have a ripple effect, influencing perceptions of the sport and potentially shaping regulatory responses. The involvement of federal authorities highlights the seriousness with which these issues are treated, signaling that both fighters and promoters must remain vigilant.
Dana White came out and said the FBI's been investing. Now they said, and that's the thing, everyone wants to hate on like DraftKings and FanDuel and all the other but that's who flags all this stuff.
That's right.
If they weren't around, the UFC
right.
wouldn't be privy to it.
The reactions also illuminate the challenges fighters face in navigating the pressures of professional sports. While allegations of fight fixing can tarnish careers, the investigation process ensures due diligence and fairness. Bisping, Brown, and Dariush all highlighted the importance of waiting for complete information before drawing conclusions.
UFC's gonna be in some shenanigans, man, because this can come out more if the FBI does get a hold of this, starts looking into it more. They're going to find more of it. They're asking for text and email exchanges with the UFC and those managers. So this is going to uncover a ton of shit, man. It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
This isn't going to get picked up, I don't think, by, the big boys, the big networks, or the casuals won't know, but the hardcores were like, yeah, no shit.
I didn't expect it to be this much, but now I'm thinking like it's happening. It's got to be happening way more than I thought before.
There's some shenanigans. So
they just have to be slick about it.
You're talking about international too,
yeah, and the mob's involved, the mafias, whatever.
Mob's involved. You got guys who aren't making a ton of money. It's they think it's life-changing money,
As the story continues to unfold, the MMA community remains attentive. Analysts, fans, and athletes are watching how federal scrutiny might reshape betting practices, fighter protections, and promotional regulations. While allegations remain under investigation, the combination of high-profile commentary, institutional oversight, and fighter perspectives provides a comprehensive view of the situation. It's a rare glimpse into how controversy, celebrity, and regulation intersect in the world of professional combat sports.
It's going to be more prevalent in UFC than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Easier to pull off. It's just one guy involved.
I don't know who this is, but...
This says, very important tidbit here. The FBI notified the UFC of abnormal action in the line movement and gave them hours to pull a fight.
They're saying the UFC's part of it, which is...
Nah, the UFC ain't part of it. UFC's probably, get the fuck out of here.
And there's an update.
Federal regulators have flagged over 100 UFC fights this year for abnormal betting patterns, including 2 additional fighters of last night's card. Shit is about to get very ugly. Still working on to confirm it, but it sounds like the feds are moving to audit Jason Herzog fights.
Oh, yeah, because he refs.
Again, not crazy paid. These guys that are lower level paid but can influence the fights, that's who you're going to see more and more of.
Ultimately, this saga underscores the delicate balance between excitement and ethics in MMA. With the FBI involved, fighters' careers on the line, and the sport's credibility at stake, the coming weeks will be closely watched. De La Hoya's dramatic remarks capture public attention, but the real story lies in the unfolding investigation, the UFC's response, and the broader implications for boxing and MMA governance. Fans are encouraged to stay informed, follow verified updates, and recognize that while controversy makes headlines, the long-term integrity of the sport depends on thorough, careful scrutiny.
I used to gamble in the UFC when I first started working for them, and then I was like, I don't think I should do this anymore. This is a long time ago, though. So what I started doing is giving my friend Aubrey tips, and he was like 84%, because I know the sport. And a lot of these guys would be coming from Japan or coming from Russia, and I'd be like, oh, this guy from Brazil, Anderson Silva, bet the house. Right. I go, bet the house, because people do.
Not my house, though. Your house.
Not my house.
This episode is a reminder that in professional fighting, nothing is just a spectacle. Every bout, every bet, and every decision carries weight. From the Bulgarian Del Valle fight to federal investigations and heated commentary from legends like Oscar De La Hoya, the MMA world is grappling with questions of fairness, accountability, and transparency. As new information emerges, it will not only affect fighters' careers, but also shape the future of sports governance and how fans engage with combat sports globally.
So Dana, you don't know shit about boxing. You don't give a shit about our history. You give less of a shit about the fighters. Your tiny t-shirt looks like shit, and everyone thinks you're a piece of shit. So Dana, fuck you.
As the dust settles, one thing's clear. This isn't just about one fight, one scandal, or one rivalry. It's about the integrity of the sport and the voices that refuse to stay silent. The truth will surface, the guilty will answer, and the fight for fairness in combat sports continues. Until then, stay locked in, because here on Ring Rivalry, the next round of drama is always just one bell away. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that hit harder than a knockout punch.